ourselves moving around. So starting on our knees, our butts are over our heels, and we're going to tuck that tail just so we can open up that lower back. We'll pull the shoulders back and down, lift the heart, and begin to breathe all the way down into our low belly, into our back. Open up nice and wide, those ribs, the chest, lengthen in the spine. Good. Now we'll just start at the top of our spine and just move around a little bit. So we'll just bring our chin over to one side as if we're looking next to us. And then over to the other side. And back and forth. Just kind of moving around. Get some of those crackles out. We'll do one more to each side. And then back to the center, and then we'll just take one ear over to the shoulder. Let the head hang. Exhale, lower the shoulders away. And then we'll go over to the other side. Whew. Slowly lift back up to the center. We'll lift those hands up to the sky. We can wiggle the fingers. Drop the shoulders away from our ears. And then we're going to take that right arm, reach back behind, and just turn to the right. Little twist here. And then inhale back up to the center. And then over to the left. The left hand can reach back behind, right hand forward. Little twist. And then inhale back up. And then over to the right. Do this a couple more times to each side. And then inhale up. Over to the left, so making sure we're making those big circles with our arms. Inhale up, one more to each side. Get those shoulders moving around. Get that spine waking up. Last one, over to the left. Back up to the center, big reach here. And we'll take those arms over to the right, and that right hand can find the floor, reaching, opening up. We should probably feel that outer hip release a little bit. We'll lengthen, stretch. And then bringing that left hand down to meet the right. And then we'll slowly walk around, chest low, all the way around to the left-hand side. And then we can lift that right hand up. And then exhale, right hand comes down. And then we'll walk our hands around, keeping that chest nice and low. Over to the right, and then again we can lift that left hand up. And back down. Walk around. Open up that right side. Lower back down, and then we'll walk around just to the front. So coming into a child's pose. Sinking those hips back, arms are out in front of us. Chest is lowering down in toward our mat. And we'll open up those fingers nice and wide, and we'll press each one of those bellies down into our mat, pulling the shoulders away from our ears, and then inhale, coming all the way up to a baby plank. Shoulders find their spot over the wrists, tucking that tail, breathing into the belly, lengthening in those hip flexors, lifting the heart. And now hinging only at the hips and the shoulders, coming back toward our heels. And then inhale, we'll come forward. And then exhale, press back, trying to keep our back as nice, as flat and straight as we can. As we come forward. And then go back. We're only using the joints as we move forward and backward. And back. And now let's come up to that baby plank. And we'll lower ourselves all the way down to our tummies. Hands are underneath of our shoulders, and we'll inhale to our little cobra. And then lower our chest back down. And then inhale again, little cobra. And back down. Let's do that 2 more times. At our pace, take our time. Inhale, we lift. And lower. And when we're ready, 1 more time. And exhale down. Hands are under our shoulders. We'll press into those palms and come back to our child's pose. And this time, let's round in the spine so we can drop the head. Sit real deep in toward those heels. And then inhale, let's come back up to that little plank, and we'll bring the left foot forward into a baby lunge, nice and easy. And then exhaling back. Inhale, coming up, right leg comes forward. And back. Inhale, bringing that left leg up. And we'll exhale back. And again with the right. Exhale back. Let's do that 1 more time to each side. And back. Last one with the right. And back to our child's pose. come up to our tabletop. Hands are underneath of our shoulders. Knees are under our hips. Tuck that tail just a little bit, lengthen in the spine. Press into the hands. Breathing into our belly. Nice and strong here. Now we're just going to keep that left knee bent, but we're going to open it up to the side. Like a puppy at the fire hydrant. And lower down. And now we're going to do that 4 times. Inhale up. And exhale down. 1, 2. And down. And 3. And down. Last one. Good. And back down. Now we're going to stretch that left leg out behind us, nice and long. We're going to open up to the left. So we'll lift up that left hand to the sky and we'll swish the right foot back behind us into a modified half moon. Good. And now we're going to take that left toe down to the floor and lift it back up and down, and up. 3. Good. One more time. And lift that buddy back up. We're going to keep that foot back behind us. Lower that left hand. Come back down facing our mats. And then the right hand will come out in front of us. So we've got opposite hand, opposite foot. Spinal balance. Good, and now let's take that elbow and the knee and touch it underneath. Let's round in the spine, and then inhale, we reach. Exhale, we round and touch underneath. And reach. And touch. And reach. Last one, touch. And reach. Good. Right hand finds the floor. Left leg is still out behind us. We'll tuck that right toe and we'll come up to a 3-legged dog. Good. And then bringing that knee into our chest, coming forward into our plank, and then press back. Everything is going to go in about a multitude of 4. So coming in, and pressing back. Why 4? Because that's what I chose. And it's a low enough number that I can remember where we're at when we do this. Last one, bringing that knee in, and we'll step all the way forward into a full lunge. Good, lifting our hands up high. Good, and now exhale, let's drop that right heel back behind us, coming into a warrior 2. Good. From here, reverse warrior, keeping the knee bent in the front, lifting that left hand. And then back to our warrior 2. And now lengthening that left leg, sashing our hips out behind us, reaching forward, and we'll come into triangle pose. Good, and then coming back to a reverse warrior, bending that left knee. Good, and down to a triangle pose. And back to warrior, reverse warrior. And triangle pose. Good, reverse warrior. Last one, triangle pose. Good, now let's bend that left knee, hands come up to the sky into our high lunge. Good, now let's reach those hands out in front of us, begin to press all of our weight into that left foot. Whew, I'm having trouble keeping balance. Doing our best, and we'll lift that right foot up if we can. Whew. Into warrior three. If we're having troubles like I am today, we'll put those hands down for a 3-point balance. Good, and then lowering the right foot, and we'll sit down into our chair. Good, inhale all the way up high. Exhale, let's fold forward. Bending the knees, pressing into our palms. We can step or hop back to our downward facing dog. Inhale, let's come forward into our plank on our toes or on our knees. Exhale, we'll lower down. Soften the feet behind us, releasing the hands back by our hips. Good, and then inhale, let's lift that chest, reaching the fingers back behind. And then exhale, we'll lower down. Now this time we're gonna lift up our legs and our chest as we inhale. And exhale down. Hands come underneath of our shoulders. And we'll press back to our child's pose. Good, let's come up to our tabletop. Find our shoulders over our wrists again, and then going on over to the other side. So keeping that knee bent, little puppy at the fire hydrant out to the side with that right leg. And then down, up, and down, up, and down, and back down to the mat. And then we'll stretch that right leg back behind us. Open up to the right, lifting the right hand. Right leg is nice and long, and we'll swish that left foot back behind us. And then from here, let's touch the toe down to our mat 4 times. Down, up, 2, 3, 4, and back up, reach that leg, and the right hand will come back down to the mat. Facing our mats here, we'll lift up the left hand for spinal balance. Pushing that heel away, reaching the fingers. And now let's touch the elbow and the knee, rounding as we come in, and then reaching out nice and long on the inhale. Exhale, round. Inhale, reach. Exhale, round. Good. Inhale, reach one more time. Exhale, we round. And we reach, keeping that right leg out. Left hand comes down to the floor. We'll tuck that left toe and find our 3-legged dog. Good. Bringing that knee into our chest, hovering in plank. Good. And then pressing back. And inhaling forward. And pressing back. Inhale, 3. Back. And 4. Holding here. And we'll step that foot all the way up to our hands for our lunge. Find our lunge, find our balance. And then inhale to our high lunge. Good, let's open up for our warrior 2. Bending that right knee, left leg is nice and long. And now keeping everything south of the equator where it is, right hand will come up for reverse warrior. And then back to our warrior 2. And then we'll set ourselves up for triangle, straightening that right leg, sassing our hips out behind us, reaching forward with that right hand. And then when we can't reach anymore, we'll drop the arm, keeping the ribs exactly where they were for triangle. Good, and back to our reverse warrior. And now triangle. And reverse warrior. Triangle, this is number 3. Reverse warrior. Moving with as much purpose as we can find. Last triangle here. It's not a matter of how fast we do it. Good, let's bend that right knee. We'll lift up the left heel, turn, and find our high lunge. And then reaching those hands in front of us, bringing all the weight onto our right foot. Let's lift up the left, back behind us for warrior 3, or for 3-point balance. Seems like this side is doing a little bit better for me. Sometimes you just have to struggle a little bit. Good. Let's lower down that left hand, sit down into our chair. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, let's fold forward. Okay, let's bend those knees, planting our hands down into our mats. We can step or we can hop back to our downward facing dog. Let's inhale forward, and we'll come down to our bellies. Soften the feet behind us. Try and bring those thighs together. And then arms come back to our sides by our hips. And then inhale, lifting the chest. Using those back muscles. Reaching back behind with those fingers. And exhale, we come down. Okay, this time we'll do both the top half and the bottom half. So squeezing those legs together, we can point the toes, reach with our fingers. Try and find our feet if we could. Lifting the legs, lifting the heart. And then exhale, we'll come down. Hands find the shoulder, spot under the shoulders, and we'll press back to our child's pose, rounding in the spine. Good. And then inhale, let's come up to a tabletop. We'll bring our left foot forward into a little lunge. And we'll sink in here into that lunge, nice and deep. And then walking those hands backwards, we'll go into our little split. So toes will point up to the sky, and our tail points back behind us, not underneath of us. So really tilting that pelvis forward, chest comes forward. Good, and then inhale will come forward. And now back and forth 4 times. Exhale, back. And forward. Exhale, back. 2. And forward. And back. And forward. One more time. Coming on back. And forward, we'll find that lunge. And then now let's lift those hands up to the sky in crescent lunge. So this time, hips come forward, shoulders are gonna go back, a little tiny back bend here. Good, now let's bring those hands to our hearts, pressing into the palms, lifting the heart, sinking those hips, lengthening in that spine as we inhale. And then on the next exhale, we're gonna take that right elbow all the way to the outside of that left knee for a little twist. One more breath here, lengthen on that inhale. Sink down and twist on the exhale. And we'll slowly unwind. Find those hands to the floor. And we'll step back to our child's pose. One full breath here, big inhale. Exhale, completely get all of the air out. And then coming back up to our tabletop. And I'll go over to the other side. So right leg will come forward. Sinking down into that lizard pose. Good. And then exhale, let's walk our way back for our little split. Toes point to the sky, butt points back behind us. Chest is going forward. Good. Inhale, let's come forward. And exhale back. And inhale forward. Exhaling back. Inhale will come forward. And 3. One more time. Back. Inhale, we'll come forward, we'll find that lunge. Find our balance, hands come up to the sky. Hips come forward, chest comes up, arms go back. Little tiny back bend here. Crescent lunge. Good. Now let's bring those hands to the heart. We'll lengthen on that inhale. And then on the exhale, let's twist over to the right. So left elbow comes around. Press into those palms to help open up the chest. And slowly we'll unwind. Hands come down. Stepping back, find our child's pose. Good, and now let's swish those feet over to our side so we can come down to our butts. Legs can come out in front of us. Finding those sitting bones underneath of us, pressing into our mats. We're gonna just touch behind our thighs or squeeze those buddies together. Nice, tall, long back. And then begin to walk those feet in towards our butts. Find our balance so that if we lift them up, we can still balance on that tail. Chest is lifting toward the thighs. And then if we would like, we can bring those feet up. And continue to hold on behind those thighs, or we can reach for the toes. But we don't want to sink down into that back. Still lifting. Still squeezing those thighs together. I find that's the hardest part, to get those thighs to stay together. Let's do one more breath. Lift that chest, squeeze the thighs, reach for those toes. And exhale, let's lower down. If we need, we can wiggle out in the back. Give ourselves little cats and cows. And then we'll come all the way down onto our backs. Work those shoulders underneath of us so we're really opening up our chest. Tilt the pelvis so that our whole back is pressing into the ground, and our hands are just going to hang out by our hips. Our feet are all the way up by our butts. And again, yes, we're squeezing those thighs together. Take a big deep breath here. And then when we're ready, we're going to begin at the base of our spine by tilting that pelvis until so much so that it's starting to lift up off of the ground. We'll come up into a bridge, lifting those hips nice and high. All the way up so that all the way up to our shoulders is lifting up off of the ground. And then starting at the top of our spine, we're going to begin to lower each little vertebra down into our mat. Take a full breath here. And tilting the pelvis, lifting up nice and high, squeezing those glutes, squeezing the thighs, lifting our heart. And exhale, rolling back down. Back, 3 more. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, we lower, 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 lower. Don't block. Do our best not to just drop down. Moving with purpose. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, we lower. And envision like a bicycle chain or a pearl necklace. One little bead at a time or link at a time. Lifting and lowering. Last one, coming up nice and high. And then exhale, one little link at a time down to our mats. Let's bring those knees in. Roll up into our egg. Good. And then exhale, back to our backs. Feet are still on the floor by our butts. Hands are on the floor next to us. This time, let's lift up the right leg. Flex the foot nice and high. And now all of the weight is going to be on that left leg as we lift and reach that right leg up to the sky. And back down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale 3. Last one. Inhale up. Let's hold here for one full breath. And now let's bend that right knee and we'll cross the ankle over that left knee and lower ourselves down. Now we can lift the left foot up off of the ground, holding behind the thigh. A little stretch here on that right leg. And we'll release, unwind, find our bridge breath. And then we'll lift up that left leg up to the sky, flexing the feet. And then when we're ready, begin to lift up to the sky. Take those hips up, press the foot up to the sky, and then exhale, we'll lower down. And it's a little bit harder to do as gracefully as we can with 2 feet. 2. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last one. Inhale up. Hold here. Now let's bend that left knee. Cross over the right. Lower our hips. And we can lift up that right leg. Hold behind its thigh. A little hip stretch here. Release the leg. Unwind. Good. And now let's bend that right knee again. Hug it nice and tight into our chest. And then lift the left leg up to the sky, reaching tall, tall, tall. And then slowly lowering down, continuing to reach with that left foot. All the way down to the floor, open the front of it. Now release that right leg and guide it over. Rest our body to the left for a little twist. One more inhale. Stay for that exhale. Slowly come back to the center. Bring both knees into our chest. Roll up nice and tight. And hold on to that left shin. Hug that leg tight, tight, tight into our bodies. Right leg comes to the sky, lengthening, and then continuing to reach as we lower that leg down to our mats. And then we'll release that left leg and guide across our body over to the right. Our left hand is nice and wide out to the side, palm up. And then the right hand can come out to the floor, or it can just touch that left knee to continue to guide it down toward the mat. I said guide, not force. Just that little extra gravity. Gently remind it where it's supposed to be going. Slowly unwind. Like roll back up into a little egg. And now we're just going to lower those shoulders down onto the mat. Our legs are going to come out long, and we're going to bring our hands underneath of our butts. Palms down here, legs are long. I'm going to do a goofy little pose called fish pose. So we're going to press into our forearms, into our hands. We're going to open up those shoulders and lift our chest off of the floor. And then we're going to begin to lift the head and open up our cervical spine, trying to place the top of our head onto our mats. And when we lift that chest, and the space we have, one more breath here. And then exhale, slowly lower back down. Bend those knees, release the hand, and then again, roll it into our bowl, really tucking our chin. Opening the knees nice and wide, elbows come inside those knees, holding outside of our feet. So relax our shoulders down into dead bug. Pressing that tail down in towards our mat. Breathing into our belly, we should feel our tummy pressed into the thighs as we inhale. And releasing the feet and lowering them down to our mats. Our hands can come to our sides, palms up. We close our eyes. We soften our jaw. We relax our tongue. And just let our mind and our body go. Deepen our breath. Wiggle our fingers and our toes. And come back into our space. Bring our knees into our chest. And roll over onto our side. Gently help ourselves up to seated. Taking our time. Doing our best not to disturb the calm that we have built within us during our Shavasana. Inhale, lifting our hands up to the sky, bringing them together at the top. And exhale them down to our hearts of gratitude. Give thanks to us, all of the gifts that we just received. I thank you so much for joining me today, for allowing me to help you through your practice. I wish you all a very, very happy and fantastic day. And I urge you to err on the side of kindness. Kindness towards others, but especially kindness towards ourselves. It's okay to give ourselves leeway, permission to make mistakes. Give ourselves a pat on the back when we do something great. The light in the divine being recognizes and respects the light in the divine being, and when we are together, whether physically or virtually, we are one. Namaste.